You didn't have to have much experience, and they were able to get you started immediately, and you can make money immediately.
Welcome to This Week in Trucking, the podcast that tells you what you need to know about the trucking market for the week. My name is Caroline, and today I am very excited to have the opportunity to talk to Motivation in Box Trucking to tell us all about their business and understand what box truck businesses can do in 2025 to improve their operations and profitability. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. We run primarily Amazon Relay. We have done so since 2000 and haven't really looked back since. We started with a little bit of OTR because that's all you could really do as a new person, but we got on with Amazon Relay back in the day, as they say, when it wasn't any real barriers to entry. So we were able to get our authority and then pretty much get started right away. We didn't have to wait the 180 days. We were able to start immediately, and it was, like I said, it was during the pandemic, so freight was extremely high and there was a very high demand for drivers. So we got started back then, and we have not really looked to do any out of state or anything like that. So we run just local, home every day. Yep, that's what we do.
Nice.
And a few other contracts here and there, but primarily Amazon. By us staying local, I would say we run maybe at the most 5,000 miles a month, like very low. So that really extended the life of our trucks so that we didn't have to dump money into it.
We have a really cool platform here that we like to use. It's called Trucker Calculator. So it's a cool platform. This is just giving us an idea, right? As we said, about 5,000 miles, right? And then you said that it was 220 last year, right? So that would be about 10,300.
Oh, per month?
So that's on average, right? Let's say 22. How many days a week do you work? The truck working?
25 days.
25 days?
Yeah, 25 days. Yeah.
So let's talk first renting the truck. So you said it was about $4,000 per truck per month. You don't have a trailer payment because it's a box truck. You have insurance though. And this was, we said insurance for rentals was $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
And then no trailer insurance, obviously. You don't do dispatch. You don't have anything for safety or factoring because you're just running Amazon. We'll take out driver salary for now and just say that the profit is our net income.
Salary. Yeah.
You obviously don't need deductions because you're not running under somebody else's authority. And then we said that this was that you were getting, let's see, with a rental, it would have been 10,
somewhere around there. You're like probably 9 to 10
miles a gallon.
10 miles per gallon.
If we're doing 5,000 miles, then that means you have to buy 500 gallons of diesel.
That sounds about right.
And then fuel,
I would say $750.
$750 a week though, right? No, nothing on tolls. Maintenance, you said between $1,000 and $2,000. So I'm just going to put $1,500. They pay for absolutely everything on maintenance, or are there still a couple of things that you have to pay for?
So far, all PM stuff is paid for to them. And if something else breaks, they usually just swap out the truck for you. So you really aren't paying for anything.
So really nothing.
Unless you completely damage it. Like I run under a bridge or low clearance or something, which has happened, but it's possible. Something like that.
It can happen. Can always happen. You aren't leaving Virginia, so I assume you're not paying anything in IFTA. That's $366 per mile on average, and a cost per mile of $176. Now this is pretty sweet, even with your $4,000 a month truck payment, which for us right now is your rental payment.
If we could change that, because I do want it to be a little bit more realistic if we're talking renting. So I would say on average it's like $1,300 a week is where I'm landing.
Got it. So maybe that's
our rental deal.
Got it.
I want to make that a little bit more realistic.
Got it. Okay. So let's say $6,500 a month for one truck. And then, so that brings us up to $226 per mile. So that's above $2 a mile, which is high, but I think most of that is because of the truck payment, truck and insurance.
Yes, it is the truck.
You're making an average of $366 per mile. Now, again, this is average overall the whole year, right? So some months might have been way fewer miles and even less per mile. Other months, maybe getting into peak season, September, October, you might be able to make more. Those seasons didn't really play out this year, how they usually play out. But we generally know what months are low and what months are higher. So that's netting $7,000 per month. Let's say that's both you and your husband. Would you say that both of you are working full time for the business?
I would say, honestly, neither one of us really work full time.
So this is both maybe one of time, but between the two of you. So maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is what that looks like for renting a box truck. Let's look at what it looks like if you were to own your own box truck.
Actual truck payment, we're looking to do no more than like maybe $1,000 a month in that.
For your monthly payment.
For the monthly payment. But for last year, the majority of up until maybe November is when we started renting, right before as peak season started, unfortunately. That's when we were renting. So up until then, we had no truck payment.
Let's say that, let's be a little more conservative. Let's say $1,500 a month would be your truck payment, just to see what we get here. We always want to be more conservative when we're looking at budgets. But you said that truck insurance would be much lower because the truck would be older, right? You've said $700 a month. Do you think that's reasonable, realistic for insurance nowadays?
Because we owned our truck, like we paid cash straight up, we could tell them the value of our truck, which is what makes the truck insurance go down. So if we're still making payments on a finance vehicle, then I'm pretty sure whatever they value the truck at is going to determine what your insurance payment is going to be. It's not until you actually own the vehicle that you determine what you want that payout. Say if something happens, that's what they'll value the truck at. I would say it'll probably be like $900 to $1,000 versus my current $700, because if it's newer, I'm sure it's going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah, so let's say $1,000, and then everything else should be about the same except for maintenance. Now you said that with an older, obviously if you get an older vehicle, that maintenance is going to be more. So you said between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for maintenance. So let's put another 15 there. And really, if you look at it, this comes up truck payment and plus maintenance, $3,000. And that's what you can compare then to your rental, right? So if the rental includes maintenance, and so you have to take those two together and then see what the difference is on your truck insurance. But that brings the cost per mile down significantly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you also have to think about when you have an older truck, if it does need more maintenance or things break down, you might not be able to go as many miles, or you might not be able to take as many loads.
And you might be out of commission completely, which then leads you to have to rent anyway while you're waiting on the maintenance to be completed. So
and you're still paying that truck payment, even if you're going to rent.
Exactly. So if things always occur with maintenance, you can't really plan that. You can plan for the worst, but you just never know when it's going to hit you. So sometimes even with that maintenance set aside, even if it doesn't take all of that money for maintenance, it could then be used towards a rental so that you can at least keep running to make some money. Yeah.
Right. That is what that looks like, your cost per mile and your rate per mile. How does that, you might be in the process of doing this planning. It's January. So that's what that would look like. Did any of these numbers, once we put them all together, did anything surprise you or make you think about it a little bit differently?
The only real numbers that stick out right now is I just hate to see that rental payment. Just eat
that $6,500 is so brutal. Yeah. But it also does, for someone who maybe it might be worth it for somebody who doesn't really know a lot about maintenance. It might be worth it to do that, just because then you don't have to worry about it and you can think about other things. But oh boy, unless you have, because if you're just starting out too, there's no way that you're going to get over $3 a mile on a box truck.
No. And it's going to be hard to do that anyway, because a lot of areas are saturated with drivers running the rates down even lower, because even with Amazon, a lot of people have begun to run it out of desperation because they are so consistent on a daily basis. They have loads, and instead of sitting there, they just grab whatever.
Well, this has been very informative. I really appreciate you taking all this time to talk to us on this lovely, fine winter day. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. See you next time.
Drive safe, everybody.